Komostu ka, Amantrana, Director General Asian Development Bank, Excellencies and senior officials from Government of Philippines, principals for the Philippines PFM Committee, PFM resource agencies, leaders and experts from Asian Development Bank and other development partners, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from the PEFA Secretariat in Washington, D.C. It gives me immense pleasure to join all of you at the launch of the 2024 PEFA Plus assessment conducted jointly with DRR PFM assessment. This is possibly a best case expected scenario to be in at the beginning of an assessment, of a PEFA assessment. Why do I say so? There are a couple of reasons. This is a multi-stakeholder and a multi-framework assessment of country systems. It's wonderful to see Government of Philippines coming together with Asian Development Bank as the lead donor, facilitating with several partners. We have the France AFD, a founding partner of PEFA initiative, Global Fund, a major emerging influencer in PFM space across several countries. We have the UNDP, UNICEF, World Bank, and several other partners, everyone coming together with a common goal to have a consistent view on the public financial management systems and taking it forward. The fact that it is a multi-framework assessment also makes it very interesting and important. If I take you back into history to 2001, why did PEFA itself come up? It is with the intention to bring together pieces of PFM assessments together to get an overall picture. And now we have the main PEFA assessment coupled with PEFA gender, PEFA climate, and topped up further with the DRR PFM assessment. This probably gives the entire picture of information, the baseline information for one, assessing the performance of the ongoing PFM reform, PFM roadmap as such, and further enhancing the trajectory into greater PFM reform. So we have the right situation to take this forward. And a good PFM assessment and good PFM reform takes place only when government's commitment reflected through the staff who are involved exists. And that's exactly what we see in Philippines. For example, Philippines really did well in having several of its key government officials trained, supported by the Asian Development Bank in PEFA assessment. So large scale knowledge of the PEFA framework exists already, and with expert consultants and team members now working with you, I'm very confident that the assessment will go smooth as we move forward. Government commitment is also reflected by another example I can share with you. A few months earlier, we had none other than Amina Pangadamanan, the Honorable Secretary, Department of Budget Management, visit us here in Washington, D.C. in the PEFA Secretariat to discuss PFM reforms. That indicates the commitment of government. Could PFM reforms happen only if the commitment in government at leadership level and at technical level is strong? And that's exactly what I see in Philippines for having a glorious trajectory of PFM reforms going forward. Now, let me talk about a little bit of the PEFA assessment report and the quality of report itself. A good report leads to a right baseline and right PFM actions and decisions later. How do you get a good PEFA report? One of the validating factors for a good PEFA report is the PEFA check credentials. And at this point of time, I'm very glad to announce that all the requirements for a PEFA check credential that are needed to be satisfied at the beginning of a PEFA assessment have been complied with, and Philippines is on track in terms of PEFA check. I would actually congratulate the PFM committee of Philippines and Maria and team in Asian Development Bank for very meticulously complying with all the requirements to be where we are today. Now, let me also mention a little bit about the trajectories. Philippines has done PFM assessments, PEFA assessments in the past, has undertaken major PFM reforms in the past with great amount of success. Now, as you go into the assessment to all the assessors, I always believe and see across the world, a PIFA assessment is the best learning process, best synergy process in the government. A lot of us ask, who is a PFM expert? I always say there is no, in true sense of expert, there is no one PFM expert, because the very fact is that PFM is a synergy of skill sets of macroeconomists, policymakers, administrators, political economy experts, accountants, auditors, everything, everyone coming together. And this a PIFA assessment process itself will be the phenomenal learning as to how to improve PFM systems in the country. And I would suggest each and every, even an information provider to the PIFA assessment process, to not just think that you are going to provide data for a PFM assessment, but you are yourself an assessor. Involve in the process, work on the drafting, and work on your section of drafting, also related to the overall picture. One important aspect in terms of the PIFA assessment report is how well it is drafted. We in the PIFA Secretariat see a range of quality of drafts. Many of them satisfy PIFA check requirements, but even beyond that, the quality variations exist. The better you draft a PIFA assessment report in terms of like how each of the PFM performs indicate the budgetary outcome. There are three key budgetary outcomes. Many of you who attended PIFA trainings would recollect: aggregate fiscal discipline, allocative efficiency, service delivery, how well each of the aspects relating to your own PFM processes influence that. Think through that and bring that in a very effective way, in a way effective where the senior leadership reads the executive summary, would get the picture and would support you in conducting the PFM reforms relating to the aspects of PFM that you were upon. So I'm very confident this would be a immensely successful and a effective process on behalf of all the PIFA partners: European Commission, International Monetary Fund, France, Switzerland, Norway, Luxembourg, Slovak Republic, and the World Bank. I wish all the very success for this PIFA plus assessment. Salamat po. I look forward to seeing you here in Washington, D.C. sometime, or in Manila, and all the very best.